If you want immediate solution and ultimate solution, Patanjali is the solution. The sadhana, the method of understanding your immediate problem and going for the immediate solution, is described so thoroughly, so beautifully in this whole chapter. I can say again and again, I have to use the same word. It can completely fulfill all possible problems of all human beings. Let me enter into the sutra. Ata sadhana padaha. Now the chapter of spiritual practice. Tapa swadhyaya ishvara pranidhanani kriya yogaha. Tapa swadhyaya ishvara pranidhanani kriya yogaha. Beautiful verse. I'll give you a few translations. Vivekananda translates, Swami Vivekananda translates this sutra as mortification, study and surrendering fruits of work to God are called Kriya Yoga. Taimini translates austerity, self-study and resignation to Ishvara constitute preliminary yoga. Swami Prabhavananda translates austerity, study and the dedication of the fruits of one's work to God. These are the preliminary steps towards yoga. Dvivedi translates preliminary yoga consists of mortification, study and resignation to Ishvara. I do not want to translate this sutra with few words. I'll give you my translation because each word I need to use lot of words to translate. I have my own unique way of translating, because when you use that word tapaha in this context, in this sutra, that word can mean in 10 different ways. I wanted to use all the 10 meanings so that you have a comprehensive understanding. Just like yesterday, I was trying to explain the word nirodha. That one word, if you misunderstand, whole life you will be struggling and wasting the life, not knowing your problem or solution. Here, I do not want to make that mistake. Tapaha. Tapaha means the suffering. Even the word suffering is too small. The happening in you, the churning in you, which you may not enjoy, but has to be gone through, has to be experienced during your attunement towards enlightenment. Please understand. Tapa means the churning which you need to go through, which you need to experience when you make yourself in tune with what you want is tapa. If I were to put it in this way, what you want will be inside you as a seed and start expressing itself as reality in your physical biomemory and in the world which you project from this physical biomemory. When that seed from the consciousness penetrates, opens up, occupies your biomemory, projects itself into the reality and sees as the world. From the seed moment to this experience, whatever process happens which you need to go through is tapas. If you love it, you call it as joyful tapas. If you hate it, call it as painful suffering. It is up to you, but tapas is this. When psychological mutation and physiological mutation crisscrosses each other, happens chaos. When psychological mutation and physiological mutation is falling in tune, happens tapas. When psychological mutation and physiological mutation are going hand in hand, parallelly, beautifully, happens is incarnation. Please understand, physiological mutation. What I mean by that word, physiological mutation. When you grab an idea from the outer world and digest that idea constantly, make your body fall in tune with that idea without any hypocrisy. If you have completed, your whole physiological system is in tune with that idea. That is what I call physiological mutation. No resistance from physiological system for that idea. It is physiological mutation. For example, yoga postures. You take up an idea, standing upside down, Shirasasana, for 15 minutes will help me to be healthy or brilliant. First there will be a lot of physiological resistance. But you practice, in few days you are able to do it. So physiological mutation of Shirasasana has happened in you. It's one idea I am expressing. Then psychological mutation. For example, ahimsa, non-violence. The idea is conceived in your heart and slowly, constantly your heart cherishes that idea and that compassion is filled in your whole psychological system. Finally, your whole psychological system is able to respond to any situation, at any crisis, at any moment, at any question, for anything. Established in that compassion is psychological mutation. Now the psychological mutation has happened in you with the one idea of compassion, non-violence. When this physiological mutation and psychological mutation crisscrosses each other, means the social conditioning and the cosmic understanding crisscrosses each other, happens chaos. Please understand, many of your physiological mutation are related to social conditioning. They are not the ultimate truth. Many of you are physiologically muted based on social condition. You can see in your life. Even if you like to pick up something from a shop, your physiological mutation is such, your hand will not stretch. I am not saying you should steal. No. I am saying, giving you the simple example of physiological mutation. Many times you can see, the physiological mutation is such that the social conditionings are observed and lived. See, the physiological mutation happening because of social conditioning always creates bondage and suppression in you, suffering in you. This physiological mutation, when it crisscrosses the psychological mutation is the idea you cherished and ready to express spontaneously. The ideas which have grown in you and expressing itself spontaneously without any struggle. When those ideas, when that mutation crisscrosses, this mutation means when there is a fight, conflict, chaos happens in your life. When these two are trying to fall in tune with each other, tapas happens in your life. When these two are completely in tune with each other, incarnation happens in your life. You become incarnation. The physiological mutation, psychological mutation. Understand these two truths. When they are not in tune, when they are constantly fighting, chaos. When they are trying to fall in tune, coming to an agreement, MOU is signed, Memorandum of Understanding is signed. Then what happens in you is tapas. When that complete tuning has happened, both of them are living happily. Only in the stories it happens. The word, ever after they lived happily. But all movies end with that word. Understand? Because after uttering that word, they lived happily ever after, you can't show any more scenes. If you show the scenes, then you will be disturbing your own statement. You will be disproving your own statement. Anyhow. But really, rarely, these two mutations happen in one body and live very comfortably, beautifully. The body in which both live very comfortably, beautifully expressing, that body only I call as incarnation. So, from chaos, you need to move to tapas, from tapas to the state of enlightenment, samadhi. So, the definition of tapas is the physiological mutation and psychological mutation trying to fall in tune with each other, signing a memorandum of understanding. Then comes swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means receiving the technical information for solutions, not just ultimate, even your immediate problems. Understand? Swadhyaya is translated by many teachers as spiritual study. Relax. No. From my experience, I tell you, Swadhyaya means receiving the technical information which you need to solve your immediate and ultimate problems. That is Swadhyaya. Ishvara Pranidhanani. Ishvara Pranidhana means relaxing with a deep restful awareness and unshakable arrogance. Please understand, I am using a strong word. Any arrogance based on your own intellectual understanding is shakeable. The arrogance word may not be the right word when I say unshakable arrogance, because lack of words. I am using that word. when your understanding is established by the restful awareness or the relaxation into the divine, surrendering of the divine, you will have something called unshakable arrogance. Ramakrishna says, Vidyahankara. He says, Avidyahankara means thinking, I have this, I am in this post, I have this money, I have this power, I have these relationships, I am big guy. This is Avidyahankara. Vidyahankara means I belong to Krishna. I can't be cheated. I am going to rest in his space. I am at the feet of Shiva. And I have a direct connection with my master. Nothing can shake me. Unshakable arrogance. I can say confidence can be a superficial word. Neither unshakable arrogance nor the word confidence can be a complete word for the Vidyahankara. I am trying to express the idea of Vidyahankara. But neither the unshakable arrogance nor the confidence is the complete word. So understand this concept. This concept is, when you have that Ishvara Pranidhanani, surrendering to Ishvara, suddenly you have unshakable, untouchable, undisturbable awareness, which even king cannot shake. I was studying all the religious persecutions happened in last few thousand years in India and around the world. I am looking into the psychology of the religious persecution. Who persecutes? Who is persecuted? How the persecution happens? What is the situation before the persecution? And what happens usually after the persecution? And I really tell you, the people who went after our organization, who did the religious persecution on us, unfortunately did not know the history of religious persecutions. Because whenever you persecute a social or political groups or organizations, their strength is reduced or they die down. But invariably, throughout the history, 100% all religious persecutions make that organization, religious organization, strong and explode in all directions. I am looking into the psyche of the religious persecution. I realized there is no single spiritual or religious group or organization which lost its strength or its intensity or its value or its efficiency in contributing to the society or its size or its future in any way after any religious persecution. It's a rule, because the religious personalities are not established in political or social economical powers. Their very mental setup is Ishvara Pranidhanani, Vidyahankara. It is not Avidyahankara. See, if the Avidyahankara, oh, I am in this post, I am in this power, I have this much wealth, I am this. The Avidyahankara always gets shaken when those things are taken away from you. The Vidyahankara, knowingly or unknowingly, is such cool ego. That's the right word I'll use. Such cool understanding about you and the existence and the human society and the human mind, Just, you simply know. You simply know the after effects of what you are going through. I saw invariably all over the world, even if it is a brutal attack, assassination, massacre, mass murders. Fortunately, we did not face that level of persecution. Of course, in the modern day, what we went through is equivalent to mass murder and assassination, psychological assassination. Psychological assassination, character assassination, and in the modern day, in the modern way, fortunately, the guys who wanted to persecute us do not have that much of freedom, at least as on now, to hang or to create a Holocaust. If they can, they would have loved to create. I know. They would have loved to do it because they have that kind of an intention, an intense anger. They are nothing less than Hitler in their violence and vengeance. The only fortunate thing is they do not have an infrastructure for Holocaust. Whatever infrastructure they had, with that they created a psychological Holocaust. That's all. Nothing else. But unfortunately, they do not understand the psychology of religious persecution. First, they need to understand the psychology of a religious personality. Only then they can understand the effect of religious persecution on religious personality. Avidyahankara can be shaken, abused, brutally beaten. And any blow given will shake them. Their power will be lost because the pillars on which they are standing will be removed. They will be just fallen. They will just fall. But the cool awareness, the restful awareness, the way this guy is playing the game amidst this whole calamity means what? Ishvara pranidhanani. Understand? A guy who is established in the surrender towards Ishvara can never be shaken, because the problem is whether it is reality or not, he is established. Even if you prove to him that Ishvara is not a reality, he will not be shaken, because the reality of the surrender and the restful awareness which he experiences because of his belief in the Ishvara Pranidhana and the surrender to the divine is so strong, he is not bothered whether Ishvara himself is real or not. Ishvara is just outdated from his life. He just loses the value in his life just because of the restful awareness of the surrender, restful awareness which he experiences by surrendering to the concept Ishvara. Please understand, I am just outdating the utility value of concept of God. When you completely relax into the restful awareness, when you experience the depth and power of surrender to divine, you just don't need even the experience of the divine. You just don't bother whether he really exists or not, because the surrender experience itself is so strong, so truthful, so straight, so fulfilling, so overflowing. Ramakrishna gives a very beautiful example. When I can be satisfied just with the 2-3 bottles of arak, what am I going to do knowing the whole stock of the arak which this fellow is having in a shop? What am I going to do? Taking the whole stock, how many barrels you have? That owner is going to, the shop owner is going to, what you want? Maximum 5-6 bottle. Have it and go. Why are you bothered about the whole stock I have? Same way, the restful awareness which you experience when you relax into the awareness of the Ishvara Pranidhana, surrendering to the God, is so strong, so palpable, so clear, untouching, undisturbable, you don't even bother whether he really exists or not. There is a beautiful story. Tirunavukkarasar, a great saint from Tamil Nadu. Yes, another one name, Appar. He was put in prison, religious persecution. Just because of the ideas he believes, he was put in the prison. And the guys who have put him in the prison also believe a different ideas, different values, but unfortunately those guys are not established in that concept of Ishvara Pranidhana, the truth of Ishvara Pranidhana. Understand? When one religious group attacks the other religious group, the group which is established in the Ishvara Pranidhana is always going to be successful. That group, that person is going to be successful. Here that Appar is established in that Ishvara Pranidhana. He is just relaxed in that Ishvara Pranidhana. So when he was put behind the bars, and the king who punished him expected that this guy will suffer and go through a psychological torture, and he may drop, his ideas are not right, and he may change his ideas into the king's ideas and opinions. He may get converted to king's religion. But as I told, a person who is established in Ishvara Pranidhana, surrendering to the divine, even if the divine does not interfere and perform miracles, the surrender, the juice and strength which he receives by the surrender is so strong, he will not expect divine to do anything. He will not be shaken even if the divine does not interfere. He is put behind bar. Shiva did not come and open the prison. He did not break the prison. He did not tell the devotee, come on, come out. No. But the strength of Ishvara Pranidhana is so strong, the strength of surrender is so strong, he does not bother. He does not even ask for Shiva to come and open, break. He just sits there and sings beautiful song, very beautiful song. Masil Venayum Malai Madhyamum Visu Tendralum Vingila Venilum Musu Vandarai Poigayum Pondrade Isan Yendai Yenayadi Nidale. I'll translate. Just a beautiful, undisturbed, pure music from Veena, an Indian instrument, musical instrument. Pleasant evening moonshine, a beautiful, sweet evening breeze. Masil Venayum, Malai Madhyamum, Visu Tendralum, Vingila Venilum. Venil is a season. In the 6 seasons, that is a very sweet and romantic season. Vingila Venilum, Musu Vandarai Poigayum Pondrade. where the bees drink the honey from lotus flowers and just after drinking in that kick, creating sound and running around, flying around. That kind of a lotus pond. All these put together, how pleasant you feel even by remembering. Even by remembering. He says, that is the pleasant feeling I am having now, being at the feet of Shiva, sitting in prison. He is singing this, sitting in prison. Understand? This is what I call Vidyahankara. The power of Ishvara Pranidhanani. When you are completely in rest with surrender, in tune with surrender to God, the Vidyahankara expresses itself so powerfully, beautifully, nothing can be shaken. People ask me, even my own ashramites, they asked me, Swamiji, we really expected when you are put in prison, you will do some miracle, come out and walk and all this. I said, going through the whole thing, being established in Ishvara Pranidhana and showing to the world the power of Vidya Ahankara is purpose of my incarnation. Not just breaking few grills or walking through few grills. Just getting out of the prison. You don't need an incarnation, just a lawyer is enough. Everyday lawyers are bringing thousands of people out of prison. Just to get out of prison, you don't need an incarnation. To show the power of the Ishvara Pranidhana, Vidya Ahankara, you need an incarnation. This time, I took the powerful job, most important job of showing the importance of Vidya Ahankara. That is much bigger lesson which need to be told to the world than how to come out of the prison. For those lessons you don't need incarnation. Few rowdies and thugs are enough to teach you those lessons, how to come out of prison. All you need is simple few instruments. How to cut the bar and come out. You don't need an incarnation to teach that lesson. People were asking me, no, Swamiji, when this scandal broke out, we should have shown our resistance. We should have done some protests. I said, to do some protest and to throw some stones, you don't need an incarnation. Just few rowdies and thugs are enough. To create chaos, you don't need an incarnation. How to handle the whole thing silently, established in ahimsa, for that you need an incarnation. Let me do my job. Let me do my job. Let us not do somebody else's job. Let us be very clear. They were asking me, no, Swamiji, at least legally we should take revenge. I told them, I just assumed human body. For this itself, these guys have tortured me so much, or tried to torture me so much. The tendency of the human mind is taking revenge. If I assume human mind also, what will happen? I don't want to assume human mind. Assuming the human body, what I went through, enough. I don't want human mind. Relax. Just to show the power of Ishvara Pranidhanani, spiritual leaders, enlightened beings, saints and sages and rishis, masters, incarnations go through religious persecution. They go through religious persecution just to show the world the strength and power of Ishvara Pranidhanani. So, now all of you know what is tapas, what is swadhyaya, and what is Ishvara Pranidhana. Just add these three in your life. You will be doing Kriya Yoga. Patanjali says this is what is Kriya Yoga. So, imbibe these ideas. Let this become your physiological mutation and psychological mutation. Let you live, achieve, and radiate enlightenment. Let you all live, achieve, and radiate the eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you.
Hadaram maduram vadanam maduram nayanam maduram hasitam maduram. Hadaram maduram vadanam maduram hadaram maduram vadanam maduram nayanam maduram hasitam maduram nayanam maduram hasitam maduram hridayam maduram gamanam maduram hridayam maduram gamanam maduram nityadipate nityam maduram nityadipate nityam maduram vachanam maduram charitam maduram vachanam maduram charitam maduram vasanam maduram valitam maduram vasanam maduram valitam maduram chalitam maduram bhramitam maduram chalitam maduram bhramitam maduram nityadipate nityam maduram nityadipate nityam maduram nityadipate nityam maduram venur maduro renur madura venur maduro renur madura paneer madura ado maduro paneer madura ado maduro mrityam maduram sagyam maduram mrityam maduram sagyam maduram nityadipate nityam maduram nityadipate nityam maduram geetam maduram pitam maduram geetam maduram pitam maduram bhuktam maduram suttam maduram bhuktam maduram suttam maduram